now with Mr. Tara Buakhamsri. Tara is the founding member of Greenpeace Southeast Asia. He has been a campaigner for the organization since 1998. Tara became Greenpeace Southeast Asia's campaign director in 2011. He then became Greenpeace Thailand's country director in 2014. Now, without further ado, Tara, I yield the floor to you. Please proceed with your presentation.
Greeting from Bangkok, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So my story today is about Transboundary haze pollution in Greater Mekong region, tragedy of the commodity. So I would like to share the screen so that we can follow the story here. Every January through March, the number of small fires spring up across countryside of Upper ASEAN region. This period actually bring cool and dry weather. It's a perfect condition for burning. Number of days moderate to dense smoke haze observed over area based on satellite imagery and also ground observation and air quality report from January to April. This map is 2020 and 2021. So for example, in March 2020, we see haze situation over Mekong region widespread. Dense haze observed from eastern Myanmar, northern and central Thailand. In April 2020, also enlarged into over Myanmar, northern Lao PDR, northern and central Thailand. In 2020, we see the same pattern of haze pollution across northern part of ASEAN. The Transboundary haze pollution continue to be a challenge for many governments in the region. Also, air quality worsening across the period from December to May. This map actually it's from ASEAN Specialized Meteorological Center based in Singapore. When it comes to haze pollution, we hear the story, right? People light fire in Southeast Asia for several reasons. In the forest area, small scale subsistence farmer practice so-called Sweden agriculture or slash and burn. That one perspective. The technique that involve cutting down tree, letting the wood dry out for the few months and burn it and clear the field. Hunter-gatherers sometimes start fire to actually capture animal. People collecting mushrooms sometimes burn the forest floor to make it easier for it. Logger use fire to clear road and clear land. So this explanation actually in the mainstream media and a popular perception that has been with the paradigm that actually ignore the fact that human interaction with ecological system actually developed through time and influenced by institutional factors. It seems that existing social condition and relationship seem to be permanent, universal. But if we seen from other aspects, for example, sociological standpoint, a tragedy of common idea, the tragedy of common the idea around this, actually very simplistic and one-sided that try to explain human social condition, behavior, human agency, without first understanding of the historical social organization. So this that's why my story is try to look at other perspective. It actually, when it comes to greater Mekong Haze pollution, is the tragedy of commodity. So we have to take that approach and look at the role of growth imperative of capitalism and commodification in producing international and institution rule, which nature and common and resources are governed and historically transformed. So actually, ecological system never altogether free of social influence, right? Rather, they are shaped by social conditions, including norm, tradition, economic, organization of labor, and political legal arrangement. For example, we have Transboundary Haze agreement in ASEAN, for example. One thing around this is the role of ADB, ASEAN Development Bank, that proposing in 1992 to have a program of sub-regional economic cooperation to enhance economic relation. They are going to look at agriculture development, energy, environment, health, human resources development, social, special economic zone, tourism, transport across Mekong, Greater Mekong region. Some of the country of Mekong region also promoted model of agriculture modernization based on large-scale land development, as we know. So we can see in the table agriculture and tree plantation concession and mining concession. We don't have data in Thailand and some part in Vietnam, but we see that smallholder farmer cultivated area actually is very big. But if we compare the owner of concession, mining concession, plantation concession across Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, you see very few of people actually own a large piece of land that aim for agriculture modernization in Greater Mekong. This one, we also look at economic land concession from the Global Forest Watch in on the left map in Cambodia. Economic land concession actually show in yellow. Mining concession show in pink is covering across Cambodia, and also according to the data from satellite map, we see the cumulative fire detection, which concentrated around or near those economic land concession or mining concession in Cambodia. But this relationship between fire occurrence and haze pollution from this area not really having a comprehensive understanding and study. Another issue that related to haze pollution in Mekong region is something to do with commodity-driven deforestation. Collected by Global Forest Watch, we can actually see the loss, the tree cover loss by commodity-driven deforestation across 5 countries in Greater Mekong. For example, Laos losing 50% of forest land to the crop, mainly maize, cassava, sugarcane. According to UNCTAD study, maize is the second most important cash crop after rice in Laos. Supply chain of maize play an important role in government policy in the rural development of Laos. Maize is also one of the commodity for export. The main market also China, Thailand and Vietnam for animal feed industry. The official document of Laos also indicated maize production is a cornerstone of economic development. Maize is grown in Chayaburi, Udom Chai, Chiang Kwang, and Hua Pan in upper part of Laos. Hybrid maize variation make up majority of the crop. 77% of the grower in Chayaburi is Awanta Pacific crop from Thailand. 28% is CP variety. You know CP, right? Particularly CP XXX. According to the Foreign Agriculture Service, 72% of maize used in Vietnam animal feed business imported maize from the province of Chiang Kwang, for example. The study done by Greenpeace Thailand, we look at 3 areas in Myanmar, Chan State, Northern Thailand, and Laos. Northern Laos, we look at the changing forest landscape to maize production from 2016 to 2020, 6 years in a row. This is the figure in 2016. And then when it's come to 2020, this is increased. We see an increase of changing forest landscape to maize production, mainly industrial maize production, around 6 million live across Chan State, Northern Laos, and Northern Thailand. We also look at the hotspot occurrence in those areas and overlay with the land use and land cover. About 2/3 of the hotspot found in Chan State, Northern Laos, and Northern Thailand is from forest. The 1/3 is from maize production, and the rest is from other crops, sugarcane and other agriculture. So this is the combination of the forest fire and also open burning in agriculture and industrial agriculture that for export. Another aspect when it's come to transboundary haze pollution in the part of Northern ASEAN is also coming from fossil fuel development. The map shows in the red dot is planned coal-fired power plant across Southeast Asia and also East Asia, South Korea, and Japan, and Taiwan. But the key point I want to raise here is that because of fossil fuels power plant, especially coal plant, emitting a lot of pollution, including PM2.5 and also other pollutants that can be having a long range travel across the area. Surprisingly, Laos government recently approved a Singapore energy firm plan to build 1,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant in the province of Saigon, I think on the southern part of Laos, very close to Vietnam border. The plan, the proposed coal-fired power plant in Saigon province is not built yet, but it's planned to export power to Thailand, Cambodia, and also Vietnam. It will be the second largest coal-fired power plant in Laos after Hong Sa. So this contributing to more or less transboundary haze pollution in northern part of ASEAN. So in this regard, we see that we cannot ignore the fact that the transboundary hate pollution around Greater Mekong sub-region has to be deeply studied and needs more explore and research and looking at the discussion on how we come up with more comprehensive data set, including understanding compared to the forest fire in Indonesia and other part of Southeast Asia. I would like to maybe end my short presentation by looking at how we move forward. I think I address and emphasize very first beginning that hate pollution in Greater Mekong is not it's very complex. So one thing that has been ignored is the community rights. I think when the forest fire came and hate pollution affecting health of people in the region, they are actually pointing finger to smallholder farmer, and even though also indigenous community that practicing so-called rotational farming. I think solution one way, big way we have to push for is to recognize rotational farming as a cultural rights for ecological and social way forward. Another area of work we need to do, I think we need to continue doing it in a big way, is to hold corporate accountable for hate pollution in Mekong sub-region. You see here in the photo coming from journalist friend and from Sahabat magazine who went to Transit and taking perspective of what happening in Transit when it comes to industrial maize production. We see the link between big corporation and also smallholder farmer who practicing maize production. So I think in this regard, we have to see the relationship between industrial large scale monocropping and the haze pollution. The last but not least, I would put it here is that because of the COVID, we have to use this moment of disruption to reimagine our future, to co-create vision and the story of hope and action with our friends across region, and also decolonize our thinking. The thinking on indigenous people is the cause of forest fire and the cause of hate pollution, for example. At the same time, reaching millions to join the journey to fight to stop the hate pollution in the region, biodiversity crisis, and also the climate crisis. So I think one last point is that we put an end to the extractive industry, mining, agriculture, modernization, and carbon intensive like coal mine and coal power plant, and also advancing the vision and thinking on alternative future. There's a lot of future that we want to see. It has to be respected diversities and our common the common future we want to see. I think in this one, we need to build counter power to actually withdraw the concept of Western development model. We also need to build the counter narrative at the center point to the front-end and green capital streets narrative, which now I think many countries in Southeast Asia, Thailand, go for net zero emission. Laos is going to be a battery of ASEAN, something like that. We need to do both build counter power and also build counter narrative for addressing not only haze pollution in Greater Mekong, but also other crises that coming up. I think I would like to end it here, Q. Thank you for that. Hope.
Thank you very much, Tara. I think within the short time that you had, I think you've given us a good bird's eye view of the many dimensions in this very complex problem, and also you've touched on some very powerful themes in terms of solutions. Yeah. So thank you very much, Tara.